put in your application, visit www.haukeburner.com today to find the Hauck sales representative in your area. Today's presenter is Dick Bennett of Janus Technology. He graciously agreed to conduct this webinar when our original presenter, Dr. Rick Martin, could not do so due to personal complications. Mr. Bennett has decades of combustion experience. You might recognize him as a former combustion columnist for Process Heating magazine. He has helped dozens of companies bring new ovens, dryers, kilns, and furnaces online, upgrading existing equipment, and helping them figure out why their equipment isn't producing quality product or is consuming too much fuel. He walks personnel through the steps necessary to keep their equipment running efficiently to save energy and money. Now let's have a word from our sponsor, Maxis Fuel Systems. Maxis Fuel Systems is an established technology proven to cut fuel costs and CO2 emissions by at least 5%. Already the choice of many U.S. super brands and blue chip companies throughout the world, the Maxis Fuel Systems are compatible with all burners across a wide range of applications, including boilers, dryers, ovens, and heating systems. Okay, the next thing we need to do is provide you with a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see a taskbar. Each icon on the taskbar is assigned to a particular element of today's webinar. If you're unsure about what an icon does, hover over it with your mouse and a box will pop up that tells you the function. Please take our survey following the webinar by clicking on the survey icon. Below the presenter photo, you'll see a blank questions box that allows you to type in a question in the box and then hit the submit button to send it to us. As questions arise during the presentation, please feel free to enter them there and send it anytime during the presentation. Later in the live program, our presenter will address as many questions as possible. Today's event is being recorded and archived on www.industrialheating.com. All registered participants will receive an email within 1 to 2 business days that has a link to view the recording of this event. Before we begin our presentation, here's a word from our remaining sponsors. Agilent Technologies Vacuum Products Division is proud to sponsor this industrial heating webinar series. As a proven long-time provider of leading high vacuum and rough pumps, vacuum gauges, and leak detectors to the heat treating industry, we are eager to find ways to help you realize your vacuum process potential. Agilent Technologies, everything vacuum for your industrial heating process. And finally, a word from Solar Manufacturing. Do you want to reduce power losses in your vacuum furnace by 40 to 70%? While maintaining high temperatures, the majority of energy loss occurs through the insulation. Solar Manufacturing's R&D team is beta testing new hot zone designs to increase energy efficiency and decrease your electric bills. To be the first to receive these test results, please visit www.solarmanufacturing.com/energy. And now, I'm pleased to turn it over to today's presenter, Dick Bennett.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, I'm your lead pitcher today, and I hope you find this presentation worth your time. We're going to be speaking about a pretty broad subject and a limited amount of time, so some of these comments are of necessity going to be quite general. However, we tried to put it in such a form that you can take what you learn here and apply it to your equipment regardless of the exact configuration of the equipment. One thing I want to say at the very beginning, before you start a energy reduction survey, I think the word money pops up usually most frequently, but I advise you not to consider any energy reduction measures strictly on the basis of fuel costs because they're extremely volatile. We can see that right now where natural gas prices are only a fraction of what they were a few years ago. And if you try to base your economics on something that's floating around that radically, you may find that you're shortchanging yourself. And unfortunately, most people have to deal with the payback equation. If you can't get it, then you're just not going to have it. So in the process of evaluating any kind of changes that reduce energy consumption, look at some other potential benefits as well. One of the most important ones today is the reduction in emissions. If you are reducing energy consumption, there's also a very good chance that you're going to make a nearly proportional reduction in your emissions. And so if the amount of NOx or CO2 or carbon monoxide or unburned hydrocarbons are a factor in your cost equation, certainly this is the time to take credit for them. Also look at the impact on your unit cost of your products. This is particularly important if you're in a commodity type business where price competition is fierce and you've got very little margin in the price, so anything that becomes part of that, including the energy consumption, has a very great significance on whether you make money or don't. Also look at the product and process quality consistency. Many times just upgrading a heating system or a piece of equipment will improve the consistency of the process, and you wind up with a higher yield, smaller variations in quality, and this is going to show up in the end product. And then finally, one that's difficult to quantify, but it's certainly a very important one, is the reliability of the process and your cost of maintenance. Unfortunately, a lot of times these are avoided costs, but they're very, very significant. If you have something where failure to tune a piece of equipment causes it to be offline for a day or two or even more, the impact on your bottom line is much greater than just an incremental savings in energy. Now, how should you go